Hi, I'm Simon, this is Lot 76 Cars and welcome to the Bromley Pageant of Motoring. We're going to start off today with the club part of the Bromley Pageant of Motoring, and there's a huge number of vehicles just on this field alone. We're going to try and cover as many as we can in the video, so please bear with us. Some absolutely superb cars coming here. Some I haven't seen for a long time, some I don't think I've ever seen in the flesh at all. Please stick with us till the end and I hope you enjoy the video. Thanks for watching. First up is a beautiful gold R107 SL in the soft. This one's got the soft top rather than the hard top fitted at the moment. A lovely earlier car with the metal hubcaps. Looks nice, doesn't it? I've not seen so many in that colour recently. Now, by contrast, next door you've got a much later car. This sort of aqua coloured car is open. Maybe we'll try and take a quick look inside that one. Does look lovely, doesn't it? With that grey leather interior. It looks absolutely fantastic. It's in great condition, isn't it? And just the addition of a more modern radio. And no surprise, we've got another SL and a later 107 as well, with the facelift wheels. And then we've got an SLK, a later SLK. So we're here at the London region of the Mercedes-Benz Club. Sorry, on that previous clip I mentioned they were just separate to the club stand, but a fantastic early Pagoda SL. Oh, that is in beautiful condition. Look at those contrasting hub covers, wheel covers that are in actual fact red rather than cream. That's fantastically prepared, isn't it? What a car. Looks awesome. Now, I believe this next car here, this J, so that'd be 771. I think this is a Fintail. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's a 230, I know that much, and it looks like an import because it's a left-hand drive car, but it's nonetheless lovely for it. And lovely from the front as well. These are really special cars, aren't they? This is a 1980 450 SL, the R107, as you can all see. Lovely condition. I do like these cars, and this combination of this blue exterior, the colour escapes me at the moment in terms of the naming, but the biscuit coloured interior looks absolutely lovely. What a well presented car. And here we've got a W123 Estate. It's a 200. It looks like it's a relatively early car. Right hand drive, so it's a UK car. It's lovely. Next to it, an R129 SL, and that's a really bright colour. That's a thumbnail car, isn't it, guys? An SLK, as you can see. That's nice as well, isn't it? And there's plenty of cars at the back to see here. A later coupe. A CLK getting quite a lot of attention. And the Ponton Saloon. Now this is a brilliant order, isn't it? I saw one of these in the certainly the coupe version in the Mercedes-Benz World display at Weybridge, which was lovely. Next to it, and I can get this one right now, it's a C124. Really well built, really fantastic pillarless coupe, as you can see. Lovely interior, absolutely beautiful. A later SLK, a lovely sort of RAF type squadron blue, something like that. Pagoda. Vectra, very nice. W123, that's a lovely colour, isn't it? It's not quite German taxi, it's a different shade, I'm not sure how well that shows. And we haven't even got to the second row yet. An R107 with the Mexican hat wheels, so you can see. And another R107, they are out in force, aren't they? Now these Ponton Saloon, these fascinate me. I mean, this is dates back to 1961. It's a 190 dB Ponton. And in fact, as you can see, it's a diesel. Now, the engine for these, I think, is the OM636 engine. I will check that because that's the one that also features in the Unimog that I'll be testing very, very shortly. What a lovely car. And in fact, I've just read that this car was imported from Zimbabwe, so I guess that's why it's diesel and also why it's in such absolutely superb condition. Another 190, what a perfect colour combination. It is immaculate, absolutely immaculate, this 190 SL. Superb. I just love that biscuit coloured interior with that lovely blue. It does remind me of a scale electric car I had many moons ago. Lovely, isn't it? Now, apologies if I don't manage to film everything here today in such detail. I'll end up with a video that's about 3 days long, but as you can see, we're just moving past a very nice Mark 1 Focus RS. Of course, an RS Cosworth Sierra. Subaru Impreza. Sirocco. And a number of lovely Ford Focus RS's, quite a mix on this club stand anyway. And Fiat 500R Bath, a lovely R1700T, I think this is the Gartrack ones, I can't be sure, but I think this is the four-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive Gartrack cars. Absolutely lovely, isn't it? So a Nissan GTR, but certainly a paint job that means you'll always be able to find this kind of car park. Lovely 60s Mustang and a later Mitsubishi Lancer in a very eye-catching colour. Now today I'm also going to try and pick out some highlights of cars we don't actually see that much. There's many of these, I know, but here's a very early Toyota Land Cruiser. I think it was the BJ Land Cruiser. Unusual to see these, it's a left-hand drive vehicle. And something else that's also unusual is this Vincent Hurricane, which is Spitfire based. So back in the 60s, there were certainly some allowances on things like purchase tax, where customers could build or part build cars or build something a bit more special based on a relatively common chassis, like bonded with the Equip based on the Herald. And this Vincent Hurricane is one of those cars. And as you can see, it's a relatively smooth bonnet without the power bulge, and it's been driven an incredible 250,000 miles, and it even tows a caravan. What a nice car. And you know, pretty much, I'm not sure about the numbers of these, but I can't imagine there's too many Vincent Hurricanes. I'm sure you'll have a look at online and find out from them. Yeah. And we've got ADO 16s and quite a few of those in different flavours. Morris, I think this one is a Wolseley. Yes, it is. And some customised white PDQ. It looks like a US vehicle. Yeah, it says a 61. It's a 61 US panel van. And a modified Cortina Mark III, Coke bottle style. Looks lovely though. Now, one of Honda's first efforts at cracking the European and US markets was his Honda Z600, tiny twin-cylinder engines. In fact, they're tiny cars. Here's sort of relatively standard looking car, if I can say that. And here's one that's been modified. Don't they look absolutely fabulous? It's difficult to put these in context, but they are tiny. Look at them at the size of this Morris Minor. They're dwarfed by Morris Minor, aren't they? Amazing. So I'm just going to take a walk around here and film some of the club stands. There are too many to mention. Here I'm going to focus in on a couple of cars that have really caught my eye. One of them is this Mark II Cortina police car. Let's go and take a closer look at this one in the background. It's attracting a lot of attention. Now this is a May 1971 Lotus Cortina. A couple of things stick out. First of all, it's a police car supplied to the Mid Anglia Constabulary, whatever they were back in the day, and it's a four-door. vehicle, and there are only a handful of 4-doors produced and just a few left. Amazing car, isn't it? And a real unicorn of unicorns, I guess. Now, in my quest for unicorns, we've found ourselves a Fiat Uno Turbo IE, so it's a later car, but what we've also found is a Fiat Strada Abarth. Find another one of those guys, that is absolutely incredible. There can't be too many of these left. I'll try and get a closer look at this one if we can. This Humber Scepter's caught my eye, and my granddad had one just like that, but unfortunately Russ killed it quite a long time ago, but what a lovely car. Now, is there anybody who's not a fan of a Mark II Cavalier? This pea green mean machine looks sort of unrestored, but a pretty genuine car. It's absolutely lovely. Now, next to it, relatively rare but a really good incarnation, is this sort of Irmscher style Vectra. I'll take a look at this one in a bit closer detail. Now, this will be one of the rare MSD developments, vehicles built to homologate for Super Touring. It's an SRI V6 in actual fact, as you can see here. Now, these are really rare, and to be honest with you, where the cooking car probably wasn't that well received, these were, and they're highly collectible now. And it's another unicorn. Let's go and find a few more. Now, arguably they're not massively rare, but I guess they're a tiger version would be, but look at the contrast in the colours of these Sunbeam Alpines. Oh, I like the green one. The white one's pretty nice as well. We've got a black one, a red one, and even a blue one. There's a whole rainbow with this club. Well done, guys, for bringing the full colour set, because they look absolutely stunning. What beautiful cars. And a lovely club stand. Well done. Mark I Escorts. Who doesn't like a Mark I Mexico? A white and red one. And behind it, I think we've got an RS which is in green. An RS 1600, which if it's original is pretty rare as well. Now, these, I think, pretty much were the penultimate collaboration with Rover and Honda. I think there was one more after this. I think it was HHR Rover. This one's in lovely condition, and I love those wood fittings on the inside. It's a super looking car, isn't it? And when did you last see one? A Renault Sport Spider, just a few hundred. Came into the UK, Patrick Lequermont designed, quite a brave design, and it's a wonder how they ever got approval for this, but they did, and thankfully there's quite a few came to the UK. Great car, and rising in value quickly, apparently. Okay, this is a later Alpine 110, one of the current generation, a very lightweight car. I know it's a modern car, but I do like the colour. Okay, moving on quickly. We've got an earlier Alpine, much more low volume than the current cars, and sandwiched between them just a little bit later on, we've got this later car as well. Looks lovely. Okay, still looking for unicorns here. Here's a lovely Renault 5 Turbo. Again, you're not going to see so many of these. Now, no prizes here for guessing what it is. It's a Renault Valsatis, but look at the registration number. The last 3 digits, FKU. I hope they're not sending that message to me there, guys. This one's fitted with a 3-litre petrol. Yeah, you heard it right. Petrol engine that was also fitted in the 350Z. So the owner tells me it shifts a bit. So here's a unicorn of unicorn, a Y registered, Renault UK plated Renault 20. So it's got the wipers on the lights. That's a nice touch. It's in this burgundy colour. These are super rare cars. I just can't even remember ever seeing one of these recently, if at all, to be honest with you. Lovely car. Let's have a look from the back as well. Worthy of a bit more airtime. Doesn't it look great? So in force, the Saab Owners Club out, and a beautiful Saab. Let's have a look. Plenty of beautiful Saabs, not just one. a later 9000, a 93, and a later 93, and then the 900, which was the first GM based car, I believe. Sorry about the background noise, someone's getting a bit excitable. And this is a 1972, I think, Toyota Crown Coupe. Now it is a right hand drive car, so it's either did come from Japan or it may well have been an early UK car, not sure. I'll see if I can find some documentation. What a lovely, pretty and rare car that one is, isn't it? Now if a standard Mini is not short enough for you, how about cutting off the back and making it half size or something like that? Easy to park, wouldn't it? So this was the answer to the fuel crisis back in the 60s. It's a BMW Isetta bubble car. I think it was built under license by BMW from Isetta. And next to it we've got a real rarity. We've got a November 70 Messerschmitt. Now I'm not sure whether the owner drove here. I guess they did, but if they did, that's all the space that they had available to them. What a fantastic car. And of course, clearly a rare one. At least it's good on fuel, guys, as indeed is the Isetta. So to give you some idea of the scale of this is just the club section. There's other fields as well here. This is an absolutely massive, massive show. It's the first time I've been to Bromley Pageant, and there's no shortage of things to see, almost in every direction. Let's take a wander to the end of this bus that somebody's very kindly let me climb up. It's pretty windy up here today, so apologies background noise. You can see many of the club stands over there and right the way round, and I think we've only seen just a fraction of what's here today. Incredible, isn't it? So next up's the Lloyd Vehicle Consulting Channel stand. First of all, an MG ZS180 with the V6 engine, that's a manual. Then the 45, which came with a V6 engine but only is automatic. That's Joseph's car, and I filmed a review of that on my channel fairly recently. If I remember, I'll try and put the link in, but check that out. Another absolutely superb Rover 45 V6. This one is in absolutely outstanding condition. These are becoming rare and not fully appreciated yet, but they will be, and having driven them, that V6 engine is super smooth. Next along is Amber Driven 247 Channels Nissan 100 NX, again a unicorn in its own right, and this is a superb car. Check out Amber's channel, Driven 247, the automotive channel, and you can see the story of this car and the quest she's had to try and improve it and get it through its MOT test. And we've got a later Toyota Verso S, my own Mercedes-Benz 190E from 1990, and from the Fuel Power channel, you can see, shout out to the name there, Fuel Power channel have brought along their Panda 100 horsepower. Now these are getting collectible, and people are beginning to realise what good fun and good value they are, and consequently values will go up as rarity increases. Supercar. And here on the Ford's The Only Way stand, we've got a limited edition Sierra Cosworth. It's the RS 500 car, and in fact so limited there is actually another one, a white one and another black one. Now that must represent quite a bit of the population of these cars, and they look fantastic, don't they? Probably by today's standards not as quick as back in the day, but they certainly were the cute car to have, weren't they? Now, talking of some unicorns, this is a Fiat Mia Fiori. Again, I saw a couple of these recently, one a left-hand drive one, this is a right-hand drive one, and it's an absolutely lovely looking car, isn't it? I mean, again, we don't see too many of these at shows. It's certainly a car that I'd like to highlight because simply it's just so rare. What a lovely looking car. And also here are the couple of these, I believe, Japanese domestic market Nissan Sylvias. Absolutely lovely looking cars, obviously right hand drive. I don't think they were officially imported. I'd love to know if somebody does know different, but really, really beautiful looking cars. And you can see the influence, I guess, to some extent. If you look at about the Farina influence or the MGB influence, it's a really nice car. Now I think we all like a Lotus, and certainly if we look at this one, we're probably going to like this one, I hazard a guess. It's a Lotus Turbo Esprit. It's an earlier car, not the earliest, it's a Y-plated car, so I'm guessing something like 2001. It's an absolutely special looking car, isn't it, really? I love that bronzy sort of browny colour, but maybe that's just me. Lloyd Vehicle Consulting would be very impressed with that beige leather interior, which looks pretty special, doesn't it? ST220 Mondeos, there's quite a few of these. They're actually starting to get a following. There was both a diesel and a petrol, and this lineup looks in really superb order. Credit to the Owners Club, the ST, I think 220 Owners Club here, just looking at the flag at the end, for turning out in such force with such beautiful cars. Lovely. And some lovely E28 BMWs. These shark nose cars, really the classic BMWs, a 535 there, and some lower powered versions as well. Absolutely lovely looking cars, aren't they? Now, Audi Tts are relatively commonplace this day, but the Mark 1s are becoming rarer. This one, particularly in this desert green, is an absolutely lovely colour. It's obviously, as you can see, a roadster. I'll take a look, and I think it's a, not sure if it's a 180 or a 225. Let's have a look. In fact, it looks like a 225 from the exhaust, unless that's been changed. Lovely colour. A very early Focus Mark 1 Estate on a Y plate, next to an MG, a very cheap MG that's for sale. That looks like good value, doesn't it, to get yourselves into an MG ZT. That looks nice. Now, I haven't seen one of these for years and years. It is a seemingly unmodified, probably apart from the wheels, Cavalier LX, Vauxhall Cavalier LX. Wow, isn't it in good condition? It appears to have the original dealer plates and the sticker in the windscreen. Let's just have a look around the front. Oh, this is gorgeous. It's amazing, these seemingly commonplace cars now get us most excited. Well, they do me anyway. Hope you can appreciate that as well. Lovely. So look at that interior, those bucket seats. Apart from the wheels, the owner tells me that everything else is pretty much standard on this car. That hooded binnacle, the way the dash leans in towards the driver, typically of Vauxhalls of that period as well. And this one's in great order, isn't it? I mean, look at the door cards. Keep fit windows, which we like. Beautiful. And here we've got a W201, a lowered one. Now, I can't remember what the colour is. It might be Havana. I'm not sure. I'm sure somebody will correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Lovely car. Here's a lovely L-registered 7273 Alfa Romeo Giulia Super. I just absolutely love the colour scheme of this car. I'm not sure whether it's original. I suspect not. Obviously, it's got the snake on the side in green, but nevertheless, it's a really eye-catching car, and I'm sure the owner must be pretty proud to have it. It looks in good order as well, doesn't it? Here's a 1995 3.2 supercharged Aston Martin DB7 built during the Tom Walkinshaw days, when the company was actually increasing volume significantly. It's a beautiful car, shares some common links, although not really that common, but certainly with the X100 Jaguar XK of the period. Certainly in terms of styling, you can see that it's very similar in many ways, although it's still an Aston Martin. And some lovely Audi Mark 1 TTs. I really think the Mark 1 Audi TT will have its day. Maybe not yet, but surely at some stage the market will wake up to realise what good value and how robust these cars are. And that styling is actually almost the same as the concept car back in the day. Really changed very little. Super. A lovely brown Allegro, an 83 Mini, or another Allegro but with the twin headlamps. This must be a later facelifted car, relatively late car. It's a W. What would that make it, 1980? Something like that, I think. A lovely but relatively rarely seen Austin A40. And just leaving now is this beautiful Austin Mini Cooper. Oh, that's lovely colour combination, isn't it? And here's a 1962 Austin Cambridge with 26,000 miles. Affectionately called Winnie because of the registration, P00346. It's been in the same family since new, which must be a rarity. The condition is absolutely amazing, isn't it? And it looks like it's available for weddings as well. So book early to avoid disappointment, guys. Beautiful. A Bmw E30 Touring. Now these are becoming more interesting, although they're not the best in terms of the load space at the back and the fact that you've got a big cutout in the tailgate where the lights are, but they are certainly a desirable shape and a desirable E30, I think. Now yes, it's a Mark V Cortina, but I really pull this one out simply because it's a colour that you don't see that often. I'm not sure what the official Ford colour is, but I like it. It looks like it's a local car supplied by D's of Croydon. It's survived well, hasn't it? Quite a few Jaguars, Mark IIs, E-Type, it looks like it's the 2+2 and it's the Series 1.5 or maybe Series 2, I'm not sure about that one. A very early-ish XJ. XJ standing for Experimental Jaguar, for those of you in the know. And further E-Types, Series 1.5 possibly. This is a V12 Series 3, last of the line, and we'll finish there with a lovely Mark II. Oh, I do like that colour. Lovely, isn't it? And here's an early Capri Mark I. Looks like it's maybe 70-71 from the plate. The colour is this sort of lime yellow colour. It really pops on the camera. I'm not sure what you're seeing on video, but certainly here it's really bright. I'll try and find out what it is. And this I know is an Isuzu Coupe. There's some good videos on YouTube about this and the history of this car. If you look at number 27, Jack's channel, there's some great videos on there. He talks about this car. In a later stage of its life, it was actually sold as a diesel. It wasn't actually sold in the UK, but difficult to associate the Isuzu brand, who produce mainly pickups now, with something as beautiful as this. It's certainly got echoes of maybe Fiat Coupe, and it's a pretty car. It looks like it's a full four-seater as well, from what I can tell. Nice to see it here. So this is a 79 Lotus Elite, the practical one with the decent rear seats. The 501 was actually the base model. Many of these have had engine swaps, this one hasn't, and it's finished in, I'm told by the owner, Championship Gold. Now I'm going to try and get a quick look inside this one as well if I can. Now I'm going to open this marina door handle, but don't feel too bad about that. Let's just take a look inside. So you've got that high dash. Oh, why do cars from the 70s smell like cars from the 70s? It's absolutely beautiful. As you can see, it's got a lovely leather interior, this high transmission tunnel here, reasonable amount of space in the front and a decent amount of space in the back of the car. For Mercedes lovers, a couple of really nice W202s. These didn't fare very well because of rust mainly. But these two have survived, particularly this early one. It looks like a 99, and we've got a lovely R129 SL. That colour really pops, doesn't it, that red? And here's a very nice Triumph Acclaim. Is that something like sandalwood beige? I'm not quite sure. Maybe I misremember that one, but this was the first cooperation, I think, between Honda and British Leyland, pre-Rover days. And as you can see, very much Honda styling cues, not many changes. I think it was based on the Honda Ballade, but this one survived really well, hasn't it? Now this looks like the Passat base VW Santana. This one's an A, so it's probably, I guess, from 83, and I haven't seen one of these for years. They weren't particularly big sellers in the day. I think the Passat took a lot more share of the volume, but the Santana was a much smaller selling car even. I'm not sure if the Sherpa was the backbone of Britain, but it was British Leyland's van offering, and this one's been converted into a motorhome. I'm not sure when you last saw the Sherpa. It pretty much went out of production many years ago. LDV continued for a while and then they unfortunately failed. This is a 77 which has turned into a very nice camper van, which is in really good condition. Now, we saw earlier on in the video the Rover 213, 216 series. This, in actual fact, is the Honda Ballade. Now, I believe they were actually produced at the same factory, being turned out as both Hondas and as Rovers. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but clearly the driver and the owner is very proud of the fact that it is in fact the Honda Ballade. And a Vauxhall Carlton GSI 3000, probably one of the ones that survive rather than the cooking Carlton models, but this one survived very well. Great looking car with that body kit on. This is probably as good a Cavalier Mark 1 as I've ever seen. You know, I'm not sure you can pick this up from the video, but the condition of this car is absolutely stunning. Hasn't it survived well? Back in 1990, this Cavalier GSI 2000 would have cost you about £17,700 or so. I only know that because that's exactly the same price you would have paid for my base 190e Mercedes. Certainly these are a lot rarer these days. With the body kit, with those wheels, it's recognised to be a GSI and a lovely car. And this looks like it's a 65 or 66 Victor 101, so-called 101 because of the alleged number of changes over the previous model. That's a lovely car, like this white over this red stripe. Now, this Belgian registered beauty is, I believe, a Toyota Crown Estate, which is rare enough, and its stablemate is a early Toyota Celica. What a lovely pair of cars they are. Some more Mercedes content here, and here's a C124 Sportline convertible next to a lightly modified, or certainly on the surface modified, R129 SL. It's amazing how well the SL survives, these R107s particularly. I've seen so many today, maybe 20 or 30, from late cars like this one to really early cars like this one next to it, which looks to be probably what, 78 or a 79. I guess the ones that survive really well that we all know are these W123s, and you know, if there's a, God forbid, there's a nuclear war, there'll still be W123s running around probably. That's the standard joke, but they really have lasted quite well. Engineered, over-engineered arguably. Now, of course, like many as I've seen, the Tickford engineered Puma Racing, built in relatively low numbers I should say. It was a struggle in actual fact selling these back in the day, but they're highly prized. The amount of additional bodywork on those arches that was done offline made it quite an expensive vehicle to produce. All produced, I think, in this performance blue or racing blue, whatever it was called at the time, and it's a lovely car. We'll just try and have a quick look inside if we can. It's got those high bucket seats, and if you like blue interiors, you've come to the right place. So we're back again at the North Kent Lotus Group stand, and they've got this gorgeous two-tone Elan Sprint. This brown over cream is an absolutely lovely colour, isn't it? Let's just have a look around the front at those later Elans. Now, these are the M100 Elans when they went front-wheel drive with the Isuzu engine, the most popular one being the turbo derivative rather than non-turbos. These look like they're Series 2 cars. There's one here and one further. I don't know that colour, but the other one over there is in Norfolk Mustard, and in the middle looks like that's probably a V8 Esprit. Yes, it is. So also in Norfolk Mustard. What a pretty car. Also catching my eye in John Player special colours is this fantastic Lotus Europa. I believe these had the Renault engine, mid-mounted Renault engine, and obviously it proclaims the championship successes that Lotus had as a constructor right the way through the late 60s and the 70s. It's an awesome car, isn't it? Not a great deal of vision out of the back, but really pretty, really pretty. Very nice Porsche 924, often derided for having the VW LT van engine in. What that does mean, the VW parts mean the early cars like these are relatively cheap to maintain, using some VW group parts. The 2.5 litre S version that came later provides a bit more performance but with more bespoke Porsche parts. And then finally it was replaced by the 944. Nevertheless, it's still a Porsche and it's still got pop-up lights, so I'm in. So from me, Simon at Lot 76 Cars, thank you for joining me at the Bromley Pageant of Motoring. It's been an absolutely fantastic day. I've tried to cover as many of the cars as I can. I've sort of focused on the unicorns of unicorns, and there's quite a few here, but there's overall some great cars. It's been a great show and a fantastic opportunity to join it. Hope you enjoy watching it. Please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.